Hello, everyone. My name is Natalie Ledwell, and this is the Inspiration Show. On the Inspiration Show today, we're going to be talking about the welfare of your children. And to join me in talking about this subject is a very good friend of mine, Julie Kleinhans. How are you, Julie?
Great. How are you, Natalie?
I am fantastic. Now, Julie's actually created this amazing summit called the Success Revolution, the Success Kids Revolution. Which we're going to talk a little bit in a moment. But first of all, you have had quite an interesting background when it comes to working with children. So let's go into a little bit with that first, and then we'll dive into all the amazing, juicy content and information that we have for you today.
Sure. I started off as a high school teacher in 2000. So I've been working with teenagers and young adults for about 15 years, and when I started my career, I absolutely knew this was the path for me, working with young people. I loved inspiring kids. Shortly after that, I was asked to become a mentor in the school, and quickly I found that my passion wasn't for teaching curriculum. It really was for inspiring kids, helping them to reach their best potential. And the majority of kids that I worked with were struggling in some way, academically, socially, emotionally. And when I stepped into that role, I realized that a large percentage of students, even kids that I wasn't mentoring, didn't like school. They weren't connected to what they were learning. So as the years went on and I started helping more and more kids, I felt disconnected from the curriculum that I was teaching, that I was getting paid to teach, and the tests and the grades, and more connected to the personal development side of work. And during this time, I also had my own spiritual journey where I went through difficult times in my life, with my dad being sick for over 3 years and then passing on, and then right after that, my grandma dying 2 months to the day later. And it put me in a real deep spiritual place where I was looking for answers. And I found the law of attraction, and I thought, wow, this is so amazing. You mean I create my own reality? And here I am in my early 30s, and no one ever told me I create my own reality, but it made so much sense. And when I look back on my life, I noticed that, yes, in fact, I was creating my own reality the whole time, and a lot of it was great, and a lot of it was not so great, but I could see that. So I started wondering, well, if this is the truth, why don't we teach this truth to our kids? Because most of the people in personal development, we're undoing what we've learned from our childhood. And I was on a mission at that point to spread this to as many young people as possible. So I started in my classroom, and the kids I was mentoring, telling them, hey, do you know that your thoughts create what you experience in your life? And kids, they're just so enthusiastic for the most part. And they just took off with this information. We would play fun games in the classroom to see what they can attract in their life, focusing on fun things and seeing when it shows up in their life. And I made a game out of it. And to this day, I still hear back from students that graduated 5, 6, 7 years ago or more that say, hey, that information you taught me in high school changed my life, because I'm using it in my career, my relationships, and everything else in my life. So in 2010, I realized, well, I need to take this out in a bigger way, in a platform that not only where I can help young people, but where I can help parents and teachers take the step to raise children of all ages in a productive, happy, and confident way, so they have this information and could create the life that they truly want. So that's where I come from.
Absolutely. So, and that's the thing. Like, it's interesting how, it doesn't matter, whether they're teenagers or whether they're younger, they really respond well to this information, especially when you can make it sort of like a game. So do you think what ages do you think children are really, really responsive to be able to listen to the law of attraction message?
I think at any age, if you start when they're really young, and that's my intention. I'm pregnant with my first child right now, and my intention is to take all this information I learned and just to make it a part of my child's life from the beginning. And of course, age dependent, there's different techniques, and as they get older, you're going to talk more on their level as teenagers. So what I found with teenagers is they really can understand the things that we understand as adults. Of course, teenagers still want to have fun. I mean, adults want to have fun. Who wants to sit through a boring lecture, right? So to make it fun, that's the best way to learn. But teenagers can read the books that we read. If you're looking for educating younger kids, illustrations, songs, things like that, having them draw pictures of what they want really excites them, and keeping their thoughts positive. They don't necessarily have to, at such a young age, understand what goes behind the law of attraction, and of course they're not going to understand the science behind quantum physics like they might in high school and older, but they do understand, hey, if I'm happy, good things happen to me. If I'm happy, other people are happy around me. And that's just such a valuable skill to teach from the get-go, no matter what age.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know that you've created this amazing Success Kids revolution. Now, this is the second time that you've done that, and you've really been able to gather some incredible people that are that really have some specific skills in this area. So tell us a little bit about the people that you've gathered for this particular summit.
Yeah, we do have a great lineup of speakers this year. We have Dr. Alex Lloyd, Harrison Klein, Christy Whitman, Dr. Sue Morter, John Gray, Jeffrey Geniak, Tia Ross from Motivating the Teen Spirit that works with Lisa Nichols, Deborah Poneman, who else? Jeff Golitz from Heart Math Institute, Dawn Clark, Nat Penyal, and just so many more in this event. There's a total of 25 speakers for 7 weeks.
Yeah, and most of those people that you've just mentioned, who we both know mutually, do have programs or do have specific ways of actually teaching children or teaching teenagers as well. So who are so is it the parents that we should be listening to the summit, or who are the people that we should be listening to the calls that you're putting together?
Yeah, it's parents, teachers, adults that work with kids. So we get a lot of youth practitioners. I myself am a youth empowerment and education mentor, so I work with parents, teachers, and any youth practitioners that want to learn these skills that pass it on to our kids. So I say it's not only for the parents, it primarily is, because the parents are the first people, the primary caregivers in a child's life, but children spend time with teachers, coaches, in the community, in churches, therapists. So anybody that has, even aunts and uncles, direct contact with kids will benefit from this event.
Absolutely. So, and I know that one of the things that that will be approached in the summit is, how to talk to your kids about this. So if a parent's listening right now and it's like, well, I would love to teach my kids about law of attraction, but I don't think they're going to listen. What are some things that they can implement now that can really open up that conversation with their children?
Yeah, well, I think really conversation with kids starts with us listening, because we come from a place, the way we are raised and the way we have been taught, that we as adults have to speak and tell. And yes, there is part of the relationship, but really, first and foremost, listen to your child. What is my child saying? What is the kid in my class, the student in my class saying? What are they communicating? Because if you, as an adult, if you can understand to read their energy, and that's why we come from a place of educating parents about law of attraction. If you can understand how to read their energy, you'll know the vibration that they're in. So you'll know if they're in lack and what they need. And then you can meet them where they're at. Because if a child is going through a challenge, you can't just say, okay, come on, let's be happy. It doesn't work that way. They're going to get really annoyed and they're going to shut you out. So you have to know how to meet them where they are and lift them up from there. It has to be with understanding. So communication skills, listening is really important, and also modeling the behavior that you want. As a teacher, I remember if I was having a bad day, that would always reflect in the way my students were behaving in class. If I was able to come into the classroom, no matter what was going on in my life, and make the most of it, that was reflected back to me with my students. And the same thing with parents. I hear parents all the time say, well, once I shift, the issues that my son or daughter reflects back to me completely changes. And they could be going through a number of struggles. I mean, we're covering so many different topics because, let's face it, there are a lot of challenges today that we didn't have even not when you and I were younger. The issues that are showing up with our children today are much more magnified. These kids, they're very, very sensitive beings, which is a gift. It is a gift, and we talk about that in this summit. And when we can tune into what they're showing us, we can make such rapid changes in our lives and their lives. So that, to me, those are the keys.
Yeah, wonderful. So, I know that you've just touched on a couple of the subjects that you'll be covering. So, what are some of the key things that that parents will be able to learn from getting involved with the summit?
Yeah, so we're going to cover topics like overcoming ADD and ADHD, maximizing your child's performance, really tapping into happiness, how you do that, creating enlightened kids. How do you create an enlightened kid? Creating more energy and healthy flow so we can start our days vibrant and share that energy with our kids. Guiding kids through the power of the heart, really helping our children understand the emotions of the heart and coming and creating from that place. The healing codes, understanding emotions and releasing toxic energy. We walk around, and our kids too, with a lot of toxic energy. They're walking into schools and they're affected by so many other kids and the bullying and everything going on. So how do we clear that toxic energy? So we have to help our kids learn to be in the world and operate in this world, because we can't hide from it. So we really want to help empower our kids with the skills.
Yeah. That's so awesome. So where can we send people if they want to register for the summit?
Yeah, you can go to Successful Kids Revolution, your name and your email, and sign up, and all of the interviews are free. It's Monday through Wednesday. We do 23-hour replays each day, and then replays Thursday through Sunday.
Wonderful, awesome. And also, guys, remember, if you click on the banner to the side there, if you're online, or the banner underneath if you're on the app, then you'll be able to go straight through to Julie's website from there and register for that amazing summit. So if you have children, I really encourage you to go and do that. So thank you for joining me, Julie. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Natalie, you too.
Wonderful. Now, guys, I encourage you to share this video. You can do that by clicking the Facebook and the Twitter share buttons on this page. So please get the word out about this amazing summit, especially if you have kids or you know people with kids. Now, also make sure that you leave your email in the box on this page so I can send you the Manifesting with the Masters video e-course. It's actually valued at $87, and I would love to send it to you for free. And don't forget to click on that banner to go straight through to Julie's website to register for the summit. So until next time, remember to live large, choose courageously, and love without limits. We'll see you soon.
Bye.